And I'm not the lady who cries on TikTok, but sometimes being a single mom is hard because you don't have anybody else to rely on except for yourself. It's just me. It's just me. And sometimes it's hard. And that's real.
Welcome back, family. Today we will review this woman who decided to divorce the man that saved her from the streets, then regrets her decision of leaving him later on when she realizes how hard being a single mom is. Let's start by understanding the real reason why she left her husband.
It's kind of a long story. I'll try and see if I can fit it in 60 seconds. So we met in our early 20s. We got married at 27, and we did not have the connection and the chemistry that we should have, if that makes sense, in like the bedroom. And I married the nice guy, and he married the hot girl. And we were best friends. Got along so well. We did not fight. We got along so well. But after 14 years together, 12 years married, that lack of chemistry and connection became a huge hole in our marriage. And we filled it with other people. So it was just, our marriage had run its course, and we had our kids together, and that's awesome. And he's happily remarried, and that's great. And I'm happy for him.
This is what happens when you are not her first choice. Fellas, never marry a woman that put you in the friend zone. From the moment she tells you that you guys can be just friend, you have to remove her immediately from your life. Here's more proof on why you should never marry a woman if you were not her first choice.
Okay, so my divorce post is not rare. Yeah, so did I know before I got married? Of course I did. I was 27 when I got married. I was 26 when I got engaged. You think you know everything in your 20s. And everyone had told me my entire life, passion fades, passion fades, passion fades. So I took that as you didn't need it. If it fades, why do you even need it? Better off to marry the nice guy, right? I had dated all the douchebags in my 20s and had my heart broken. So I was like, I'm going to go with the nice guy. And to be perfectly honest, he'd been a nerd in high school. He'd never gotten the pretty girls. And I think he married me because I was beautiful. I am beautiful, you know? And we were best friends. Best friends. And that carried us along for a long time until it didn't.
You cannot turn a hoe into a wife. This guy tried to save her after she lets Chad and Tyrone pump and dump her, and the thanks he got was a divorce so that she can go back to the streets where she belongs.
She's been dressing for revenge. Ladies know what people want. Someone sweet and kind and fun. The ladies know people and crossing all the line. Someone told us white collar.
You can take a 304 out of the streets, but you can never take the streets out of a 304. She divorced her husband and destroyed her whole family to do this foolishness. This is the lifestyle most modern women are talking about when they say, I have to find my happiness first, or I have to find myself first, or, again, living my best life. And then they have the audacity to have standards for the men they want to date. Check it out.
All right, here's a little story. Fellas, pay attention. So I don't just do hair. I actually own a salon. And one of my other stylists has a client, and every time she comes in to get her hair done, which isn't all the time, but it's often enough, her husband gets there hours before her to drop off a box of chocolates for her. This man leaves his home, goes to the chocolate store, which is 2 doors down, buys this woman a box of chocolates, and drops him off at the salon. So when his wife gets there, her stylist presents her with a box of chocolates, and she gets her hair done. Now, I don't need you to be exclusive with me, but I'm looking for that level of commitment. I'm looking for a man who's going to bring me chocolates to my hair appointment. Or coffee. Probably coffee.
Ma'am, the woman you are talking about is married to that man. She probably support that man, and that is why she is treated good by her man. You cannot compare yourself to her because you decided to divorce your own husband. Now, before we get to the sweet tears of regret, let's watch one more clip that illustrates the level of selfishness of this woman in regard to her family and children.
Don't stay for the kids. That's like one of the number one things I'm seeing in my comments. I'm staying for the children. I'm staying for the children. Part of the reason I left was because of the children. I get it. I get it. Thinking about having your children only half the time is nauseating, right? It makes you sick to your stomach to think about. But I didn't want to set the example for my children that lukewarm was what marriage looked like. And if you don't have a healthy marriage, your kids will know. And then they'll think that's what marriage is. And then they'll get into a marriage and think, well, this is like my parents. Would you tell your children to stay in a marriage that didn't fulfill them? Why do you?
She was not fulfilled in the marriage because she was missing the streets. She was not fulfilled in the marriage because she missed chasing after Chad's validation. She wanted out of the marriage just because she got bored. But now, when it's time to be responsible, she starts to cry on the internet, like they all do.
Always just trying to keep it real, but... And I'm not the lady who cries on TikTok, but sometimes being a single mom is hard. Because you don't have anybody else to rely on except for yourself. And so my hot water heater went out, and I now have to miss my youngest son's flag football game, which I only get to go to every other week because I work on the weekends that I don't have them. And now I have to miss it because I have to stay home for a damn hot water heater to be installed. And it's just super frustrating at times because I'm the only adult in the house. And so now I have to leave him and go do that. And sometimes it's just hard to not have anybody to rely on. And yes, while I have a boyfriend, he doesn't know my kids. They're not involved. And so he can't be at my house. He can't help. It's just me. It's just me. And sometimes it's hard. And that's real.
We've got no sympathy for you, my dear, because you chose to leave the most reliable person you had by your side for the streets. Well, you have to take accountability for your own actions. Fellas, women like her just want to have fun their entire life with absolutely no responsibility and consequences. Never let these type of women in your circle. Make sure that you vet women carefully before allowing them in your presence. And above all, keep your head up, focus on your goals, and everything else will follow. I love you and I appreciate you for all your support. Please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, and share to help push this content to more men in need. I'm out. Peace.